the country of Burma. Sometimes we call the country of Myanmar now. Yeah, the country of Burma. And he met up with some bandits. Elder Harry and Dr. Frank were going to make a trip. They had to take supplies to a mission school far, far up in the mountains. They couldn't go by car, and they couldn't go by bus, and they couldn't go by boat, and they couldn't go by plane. They had to go in an old wood cart, kind of like a wagon cart. This old wood cart had wood wheels. This is a really old story, isn't it? Wood wheels on a wood cart. And they had two animals pulling this thing. Sometimes, some places in the world we call them water buffaloes. Sometimes they call them bulls or bullocks. They're big overgrown cows. Two big overgrown cows pulling this cart. And these big overgrown cows walk very slow. So Elder Harry and Dr. Frank started out with their supplies. And they drove all day. Then they rested for a little while, then they got back in, and they rode all into the night. They didn't even stop to sleep along the way. They made those overgrown cows pull the cart day and night, right along. It was going to take 2 or 3 days to get to this school way out in the mountains. And they couldn't waste time sleeping all night along the way. There were no motels or hotels. They just had their cart and them in the hills and the jungle. That's all they had. Well, they had a local man, a driver, T-Lun. Somewhere in the middle of the night, Dr. Frank and Elder Harry were so tired. Oh, it would hurt to ride in this cart hour after hour. So they decided they would walk in the middle of the night. And they could walk faster than the great big overgrown cows could pull the cart. So they walked on ahead. A long ways on ahead in the middle of the night. And after a while, they sat down to rest. And they said, well, we'll wait here until the cart and T-Lun catches up with us. And they rested a while. They were all rested up, and the cart hadn't come. And then they heard someone shouting in the distance. Oh no. And they recognized his voice. It was T-Lun, the driver. They heard his voice. He was shouting. And they knew he was coming closer. He must be running. So they ran back in the way toward home, not the way they wanted to go, way toward home to meet T-Lun. And T-Lun, oh, Elder Harry, oh, Dr. Frank, bandits. There were 4 of them. They just came out of the jungle. And one of them had a great big knife, and he held it on me. And the others unhooked the big overgrown cows, and they stole our transportation. They left the cart, but they took the cows. And now we don't have any way to go. Elder Harry and Dr. Frank says, oh, we can't do that. We can't accept that. No, we can't let them get away. Remember, this was long, long ago in a very rough country. There were lots of wild animals, and sometimes the missionaries carried guns back in that era. We don't now, but they did many years ago. And so Elder Harry reached around and worked around, felt around in the cart. It was dark, but he could feel around, and he found his great big gun. He had a big gun. It was an elephant gun. It would kill anything. Everybody was afraid of that big gun. And then Dr. Frank felt around in the cart, and he found his shotgun. And then T-Lun felt around in the cart, and he had a great big knife. So they started off, and you know, those 2 big overgrown cows left the trail. You could see stuff was knocked down, and branches were broken, and the grass was pressed down, and it was easy to follow those 2 overgrown cows and 4 bandits crashing off through the jungle. So they followed the trail. And then they came to a clearing. And there was one house in the clearing. And the big overgrown cows were tied up at the house. And T-Lun grabbed his big knife and he held it over his head. And he went running ahead. And he was hollering at the bandits in their local language about, okay, you guys, we're going to get our cows back. You can't get away with this. Well, the bandits, 4 of them, thought they could take T-Lun 4 against 1? Yeah, they didn't have anything to worry about. And then one of them saw Elder Harry with his great, big elephant gun. And then they decided maybe they weren't as strong as the people coming to get the cows back. And the chief, the head guy, the guy that was in charge of the bandits, came out of the house, and he had a great big knife, just like Tila had. But he came up close to Elder Harry, and he dropped his knife on the ground, and he bowed down to Elder Harry. That's what they did. When they had a war, they had a battle, and the loser would do that. The loser would throw his knife down on the ground and bow down to the winner. Oh, that means I surrender, I give up, I quit, I won't fight. That was their custom in Burma. That the loser, when they had a war, the loser would be the slave of the winner. And so this head of the bandit said, now I'm your slave. And Elder Harry held out his hand and said, no, you're not my slave. I'm a man of God, and I want us to be friends. Wow. God took the stealing of those cows. He took bandits, and he turned the situation around, and I want to be friends, Elder Harry said. And so he began visiting with the man who's the head of the bandits. And Elder Harry said, are you married? No, I'm married. Do you have children? The bandit said, I have one child. I have a little girl. I have a little girl. But she's sick. She's been sick a long time. And we don't know what to do for her. And Elder Harry said, well, this is your lucky day. Because my friend back at the cart guarding our stuff is a doctor. If you and your wife bring your little girl to our mission, Dr. Frank will take care of her. And just a few days later, the bandit and his wife and the little girl sure enough showed up at the mission. And Dr. Frank examined her and discovered she had worms. And he had medicine. And in a few days, she was a lot better. So now, God has taken the bad situation of stealing, and he has found a new friend for Elder Harry, and he found some medical help for the little girl who was sick. God can take all kinds of bad situations and turn them around and make something good out of it. In your life, sometimes you're going to have something bad happen, but you need to be watching and listening. God, how can you make something good come out of this? You need to go back to your seat, listen very carefully while Elder Tree Carton tells us some mission stories, because I know he's a missionary, and missionaries have to tell mission stories. And I'm really looking forward to his mission stories. So let's listen carefully.